Hey, Mike with Mike's Bags. Today I'm reviewing the Delirium by SwagBags. Before I get into the review here, real quick on the footage here of me throwing. When I throw, I have to deal with the elements, and I just have to kind of take advantage of the days that I can get out and throw. The day I went to throw these, there was a decent amount of wind blowing, so I had to flip the directions I normally record from. And by doing that, it puts the sun pointing directly at the camera, which is why I always throw the other way, because the lighting is better for the other direction. It doesn't interfere with the camera and the footage. And when you get the sun pointing at the camera, it kind of washes some of the footage out. It just isn't as crisp and clear. I'm hoping in editing, when I go to edit this video, I can clean some of it up. If I can't and it doesn't look good, then you're probably not going to watch this because I'm not going to be uploading the video. So if you're watching this, it means I was able to clean up to make it to a point where I felt it was passable. But if it's not as good a quality as I normally put out there, I apologize. I'm just trying to deal with the elements. And like I said, I got to get out and record when I can. So it wasn't the best day for it. It didn't affect the playability. By flipping it over, the wind didn't affect the playability of the bag at all. It's just the lighting from the sun. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about these Delirium bags here. We'll start with the materials. Slow side. The slow side is that linen-like material that you find. It's the same slow side that Reynolds uses on their Victory. It's on the B3 Justice slow side, the slow side of the Corner Graphics Nympho, the Psycho X Widow X from Ultra, the BG Assassin uses it. It's actually a somewhat popular material. You've seen it around a lot. I think you saw it more before this hybrid material craze has hit through, but you still see it. There's still some players that love this material out there all the time. I call it a 5-speed, but it's a material that really does adjust or change as conditions change. It's really affected a lot by the weather conditions. So boards get damp and sticky from humidity. It slows down like a 2 or 3. It's not a bag you throw in humid conditions. It's not playable in those conditions. When boards are dry, a normal dry speed board, actually it's a 5, that's why I call it a 5. If boards are really fast and dry, it can play up to a 6 or 7 speed on the coast conditions. So it really does fluctuate a lot. So just be aware of that. It's more of a bag. This material is more of a material that you throw in certain situations. It's a great bag to throw. Other situations it's not. So it's not a bag that you go and say, I'm throwing this no matter what. It's a bag because you know what? This is the condition. I'm gonna pull this bag out. And when you pull it out, it plays phenomenal. And I'll get more into that as we talk about playability on that. There's some negatives because it's not my favorite material, and I'll get into why it isn't also as well. But I think SwagBags has done a great job of making some adjustments, some changes to kind of fix those negatives. So, and we'll talk about that in playability. Anyway, 5-speed on the slow side. Fast side, this is that Pro Sniper Deadhead Viper fast side material. Same fast side as the Ruby or the Chaos. If you're familiar with SwagBags, 9-speed. It's fast. It's great for pushing and collecting and cleaning up messes on there. So we're looking at a 5 roughly on the slow, 9 on the fast. Template wise, this is a medium template bag. I think SwagBags has a pretty standard template across the board for all their bags, if I remember correctly. It feels like a typical SwagBags template. Medium template, medium amount of fill in here, so it's not an overly floppy bag. There's flop here, but it is not super floppy. However, it has I classify it more as a loose bag. These two materials, very pliable, very thin material, so the bag has a really loose feeling to it. Even when the bag's brand new, they feel like they're broken. They don't take a lot to break in. It doesn't take a lot to get these bags game ready as far as the materials go. So it's a looser feeling bag, which adds a little bit to the playability and kind of helps the way the bag plays on there, especially for the kick, which one of the negatives of the slow side material is that it does have a kick to it. And you know, if you don't throw a flat bag, it's going to kick on you and it can be tough to control. But by giving the bag a looser feel and pairing it with this fast side, and even the fill, it's a flat fill in here. I don't think there's any beads. It's a little bit of a mixture, I think, of different flat fills, but it's 100% flat fill. It's just kind of a mixture of flats there, which gives the bag a soft feel. So you take that flat fill and compare it with the looseness of the bag, and the bag lands softer and really doesn't have the kick that I typically get with this linen slow side material. So I really like what SwagBags did in the amount of fill, the type of fill, and so forth, to really kind of minimize that kick, which is one of the negatives on there. And so if you don't throw a flat bag, but you've been wanting to throw one of these linen slow side material bags, this is the one I think you pick, because this is the one probably has the least amount of kick of most of the ones that I've thrown out there. And then lastly, the bags are ACL stamped. They have the comp stamp on them for 2024, and I've mentioned this before, I'll mention again. If you're not a pro, the comp pro stamps don't matter. There's no difference in quality of the bags. If you play an ACL event and you're watching my video, you can throw a comp stamp any ACL event you go to, just like I can. If you're a pro player, there are certain events you have to have a pro stamp bag, but if you're a pro player, you already know that. I don't need to tell you that. So if you're not a pro player or you don't know about it, you can throw a comp stamp bag anywhere. So don't let that comp stamp scare you away from the bag. Let's go ahead and dive in and we'll talk about playability on this. And this is a bag, like I mentioned, it's a situational type bag. And again, it has certain situations it doesn't play well, but for me, This is a bag that's really, it's really designed to run bags in the hole. It's not really a bag you're going to throw blockers and play a dirty style game with it. And you can control this down. You can play, you can throw a blocker, especially if boards aren't playing super fast. You can definitely throw blockers up there. And the bag does a good job of blocking. The issue I have, and maybe it's not an issue, this bag is not designed for that style game. And the reason I say that is because collectability, because it's loose, it does kind of want to collapse up, coordinate up like a floppy bag does. So when you go to collect a bag, you've got to come more into the middle of it. If you've got a bag over on your opponent's side, it's tough to come across. Actually, you're not clipping the corner and taking it, because what you're going to do is just spin your bag around and leave the blocker and put your bag in. You've got to really come down the middle, so you get more aggressive going after the bag to collect it. Not impossible. I threw some blockers here. I hope I got some clips of it. There's some blockers. It's definitely pushable. Fast size, plenty fast to push if you want to. But this bag shines better in the get around style game and leaving the blockers over. So if you're playing an opponent who plays a dirty style game and throws blockers, that's where this bag really does great, because then you aim at the corner of that bag and you're going to hit it coordinating up. You're going to spin around, maybe even bully them out of the way and put your bag in and leave their bag there. That's where this bag shines. The other part, I think, is if you throw a bag, like you throw, say you throw the Ruby. The Ruby is your go-to bag. You throw it all the time. And that's like a 7-9 speed bag. But boards start getting fast, and they're just getting to a point where it's hard to control that Ruby, and you really need to find a bag that's a touch more controllable, but you can still play the same style game. That's where I think this Delirium comes in, is a great complement to that Ruby, because when boards are too fast as Ruby, then you bring this out, and this is going to play more of that 6 or 7 slow speed on that faster boards, and you can still play your same game you play with the Ruby, but not have to change your throw, because this bag's going to play more like the Ruby plays in normal conditions. That makes sense. Hope it makes sense anyway. That's where I think this bag really shines, is faster boards. Plus, another knock on this material is I do find this material tends to want to hang on the hole. You add in that flat fill, and you're going to get bags that are going to hang on the hole on normal locations. Faster boards, you don't get that. And I saw it more when I'm throwing it. And the reason I saw it more is because this is a very forgiving bag around the hole. Because it's a looser bag, you get that floppy forgiveness. So even though it's not a big floppy bag, it's loose. It allows the corners to dip in. If you're missing the hole left or right, you're missing your landing zone left or right, this bag is very forgiving. It's going to grab that hole. When other bags maybe skip past, it's going to grab and pull itself in and hold it there. The problem is, if you don't have enough speed, it sets. And once it sets, you've got to be more aggressive going after this bag, because I did find, in my experience, this linen material is not that it's not extremely hole friendly, and with the flat fill here, the bag wants to settle. So it doesn't always want to just drip in with bags hitting the board and going. A lot of times you'll just leave it there as you're throwing through. So you've got to get aggressive and come after, come across with a cut and grab it, or airmail drag and hit it and take it in. So just be aware of that. Now, I will say, if swag bags were to add more beads in here to make it drippier and cascade in the hole, it's going to give the bag more bounce when it lands, which gives it more kick. So it's a compromise, right? By taking away that kick and not the bag not penalizing you, you're going to give up a little bit around the hole. It's part of the trade-off you get with cornhole bags, and swag bags decided to go with a more forgiving landing bag. And that's fine. I had no problem. Like when the bags were up there, once you're on the hole, I feel like if a bag is hanging on the hole, it's my job to go get it anyway. I have no problem with that. I can be more aggressive with that. I would rather have a bag that's going to grab the hole and set than a bag that's going to skip past and go out of play. So I have no problems with that. It's just one of those things to keep in mind. And again, I'm nitpicking here. I'm really, really nitpicking. I don't hear that the bag is not hole friendly. You'll see here, there are bags that do drip in the hole. It's just certain times, certain situations, once that bag catches and settles, it will set sometimes. And you just got to, as long as you're aware of it and I've got to be more aggressive, that's fine. Because there are times here where I had my fourth bag and a bag's hanging. Normally I would go, I can just slot a bag in. It's probably going to drop in. With the bag this, I'm going, okay, I got to shoot it. I got to airmail drag it, or I got to go harder, step out and try to clip it or throw a cut or whatever. As long as you're aware of it, you can play that way and make the adjustments. So it leads me into availability, and Swag Bags has a website. It's swagbagscornhole.com. I'll put a link down in the description for you guys. As always, the bags are $89.99 for a set, and I think it's $13 shipping. So just right at $103 shipped to you. However, if you follow Swag Bags Pro players or sponsor players on their social media account, you can find some discount codes out there from them, which will bring it down to like $94 for you. So, but even at that $103, it's kind of that medium price point. It's definitely not the most expensive bag. It's a decent price for it. I think you're getting a high quality bag, so I have no issues with the price point in there. And if you've been looking to try out this linen slow side material, you haven't thrown it yet, this Delirium is a great option, a great bag to try it on that. So give it a run. If you've thrown this bag, I'd love to hear feedback, what you like, what you don't like. Drop a comment down below. I thank you guys so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.